Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as I talk about how to care for trailing lobelia. So let's go. Trailing lobelia, also known as Lobelia arinus, is considered an annual here where I live in New Hampshire Zone 5B. It is such a lovely plant. You'll often find it in hanging baskets, but you also will find it out in the landscape. It is such an easy plant to start from seed. In fact, I've made videos showing my process on how to collect the lobelia seeds as well as how to sow them. I'll go ahead and put links to those videos down in the description below. Trailing lobelia thrives in full sun. However, you can get away with putting this plant in part sun or even part shade. Just know that the shadier the area, the less blooms you might get. It's a plant that loves its moisture. So if you ever notice that your lobelia is starting to wilt and not look very good, keep that in mind. It might need some more water. In fact, this plant thrives in cool conditions. It does really well during the spring months. It looks nice and vibrant. During the middle of summer, it might have a little bit of a lull. It might not look very good. But then once the temperatures cool down in the late summer, early fall months, it bounces right back. You can see right towards the front of this flower bed, I have a bunch of vibrant blue and purple colored trailing lobelia. It's looking great, but I can tell you, here we are, middle of August, it's definitely suffering a little bit. And I checked on it to see, does it need more water? I do have drip irrigation in this bed. It is getting plenty of water. I've also been diligent about fertilizing it every 1 to 2 weeks, and I fertilize my annuals with Miracle-Gro, but really you can use whatever fertilizer you want when it comes to fertilizing annuals. Another thing I've noticed about lobelia is it really benefits from being pruned or cut back. When you do that, it tells the plant to basically continue blooming, not going to seed, and also it just makes for a more compact, bushier growth habit. In today's video, I'm going to show you my process for collecting the lobelia seeds as well as how I go about cutting them back, and then we'll give them a little bit of fertilizer. Look how vibrant and blue this lobelia is. I just love it so much. But you will see right around here that the plant is looking a little tired, a little crispy. You can especially notice it with this lobelia plant right here. There is a lot of fresh growth happening right at the base of the plant, but near the middle to top part of the plant, it does not look good. Here's another lobelia that we started from seed during the winter months. It's a very pretty purple and white colored lobelia. And again, we have a lot of flowers here, but then when you look at the base, there are areas that just look very crispy and they don't look very good. And yet another example of some more lobelia that I have planted in this flower bed. Isn't that just beautiful? The final color of lobelia that I have in my yard, in this garden bed, is this white colored lobelia. It looks really pretty. And again, we have areas that don't look as pretty. What you're looking at here is a trailing lobelia bloom. And these are examples of flower buds that will eventually open up and those will bloom for you. When it comes to collecting seeds off of a trailing lobelia, you want to look for seed pods that are at the base of the plant. Now, in this situation, we have this section that looks pretty dead. I'm actually going to cut off a whole entire section, and then I'll show you the seed pods close up on there. So I'm just using my hand pruners, and I'm just cutting off these sections that don't look very good. And this is important because this is all part of regular maintenance when it comes to our lobelia plants. I'm just following each section down to a green part of growth and cutting there. We have some sections here that look okay, so we're just going to cut down here. There's one more section, I can cut that out. So in this case, we've come in and we've cut back a good amount of the dead growth. It's up to you if you wanted to cut out a little bit more, but I'm happy with what we've gotten done so far. When I collect seeds, I like to just label the paper with the seed that I collected. So I just wrote down trailing lobelia. It's purple and it has a white eye or a white center. I prefer to collect my seed pods on a day when the seed pods are dry, but that's not necessary. It just makes it easier, but it's not a requirement. That's a close-up of what the seed pods look like. If they were green in color, that would mean that the pod is not ripe. And if you took a green pod off and it eventually turned brown, the seeds inside of there most likely will not be viable and will not germinate. So you want to wait until the pods are a brown color on the plant. And to release the seeds from the seed pod, you can just go ahead and squeeze it. And when you do that, you can see the teeny tiny little seeds being released. When it comes to collecting your seeds, you have the seed pod, you have the seeds, and then you have what is called chaff, and that is the non-seed material. But look at all those seeds. Each one of these teeny tiny little seeds will create one plant. I like to then dry my seeds in an area where they're not going to just blow away, and I let them dry for 1 week just to make sure that they're fully dry before I store them. And it's up to you if you want to store your seeds with the non-seed material, you can do that as well. So if I just move this aside, you look at all the seeds that we were able to just collect out of a small amount of seed pods. After 1 week, what I'm going to do is fold this piece of paper in half, and it makes it much easier for me to funnel the seeds into this little bag here. I have always stored my seeds in little Ziploc bags, and it's never been a problem. The key is making sure that the seeds are fully dry so that there is no moisture and so they don't rot inside of the bag. However, if you want to store your seeds in a small paper bag, small envelope, you can do that as well. It's always a good idea to label the bag or the envelope with the year that you collected the seeds. That way you know how viable the seeds are that you're sowing. In other words, as each year goes by, these seeds are less and less viable. They're the freshest the first year that they were collected, and every year after that, they're not as fresh, meaning there's going to be less germination rate for them. On this blue lobelia here, I'm just going to go ahead and pull off a couple of more pieces on the base that don't look very good. Now you might be watching this video and saying, well, I don't want to collect the seeds. I just want to clean up my plant so it looks a little fresher. And that is totally fine. What I'm going to do is show you next my process for basically pruning back or cutting back this lobelia. So this is a great example of where you would want to do more of a harder cutback. I showed you earlier how to do more of a selective pruning, but we're going to do a harder cutback this time. Could you come in and selectively prune little pieces like this? Absolutely. But what if you're like me and you have 50 or 100 lobelia plants in your landscape? This could be a little daunting, a little overwhelming. So instead what you could do, because you see all that fresh growth in the center, is you could come in and cut your lobelia plant back by about 30% to 50%. It's a lot faster that way. It makes the plant look tidy, and it tells the plant not to continue going to seed, and more so to continue putting out more fresh blooms. The weather will be cooling down here soon, and so this lobelia plant will be loving life, and it will be ready to go with new fresh flowers. Just continuing to go around on the other side of the plant. Anytime you do a cutback like this, the plant would appreciate being fertilized. So I will come in and I will give this a little drink of water, and I will have my Miracle-Gro fertilizer mixed in. It can be hard to forfeit blooms, and really, if you want to, you could keep a few blooms on just so you have a little bit of color. But doing this type of maintenance work to a plant that's gotten leggy, that's not looking very good, is very important. I'm just looking at the base of the plant. Oftentimes at the base, those are the pieces that start to die off first. So I can come in here and just cut a little bit at the base. Look how much cleaner and tidier this plant is. Now I'm going to give it a small drink of water, and I have some fertilizer mixed in. Give it about 2 weeks and it's going to flush out with some new blooms. I plan on doing the same process with the rest of the trailing lobelia that I have in this flower bed. It looks pretty with its colors, but again, if I come in and on some plants do selective pruning, and other plants that just need it more do a hard cutback and then fertilize them, the plants should bloom for me up until my first frost. After all, we don't want to live with plants that look leggy, dead, or scraggly. I'm looking forward to a few things. Number one, cutting back the rest of my lobelia, giving them fertilizer, and then seeing them bounce back with a lot of color. I also can't wait to start more lobelia seeds this winter and show you my process on how I start the plant from seed. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them down below. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.